My name is Dr. Brenda Max Ndoagribe. I am from Nigeria, and this story is a story that has spanned exactly 2 years. It started on the 20th of December 2018 when my son Memphis and his brothers were playing and there was an accident, and a firearm discharged, and they had this massive injury that took out tissue, bone, everything. Left a huge gaping hole in his foot, his right foot to be precise. And I wasn't in town. I was working in Abuja. They had traveled home for the Christmas, and so I was called, and I had to fly down home to see him. He was in the hospital. They took him to the FMC, and while we were there, they had to, because he had lost a lot of blood. So what they told me was that he had lost a lot of tissue, but that they were going to fix it. And well, they couldn't do anything. So we took him from the FMC Umuahia and took him to Cedar Crest Hospital in Abuja. And when we got there, they examined him, and I was told that they were going to amputate his foot. So they told me he had lost, that the major blood vessels that went there were gone, and that doing anything will be 50-50, and that they couldn't take that chance. And so we decided to take him out. And after a series of interventions, we came to Dubai. We went to several hospitals, met several doctors, and at some point we got frustrated. We thought about going to India. So fortunately for us, a friend of mine knew Dr. Kiran when he was in hospital in Abuja. So and coincidentally, he was also here in the UAE. So we called him, and then he said he was in a hospital in Ajman, in Thumbe, that we could come there and get, the opinion of the plastic surgeon that was there. So at the time we were coming to Thumbe, we were just tired. We just wanted to go back to Nigeria. So fortunately for us, we met Dr. Faisal. But at that time, Memphis had been in so much pain. He was going through a lot of excruciating pain, and we didn't know, what was going to happen. It wasn't like, I just knew that I couldn't have my son's foot amputated. I was willing to take any chance. And we had been extorted. We had gone through a lot of, both physical and emotional trauma from different doctors. We found it very exploitating. So when we came here to Thumbe, we were just tired. We just wanted them to give us a referral so we could go home. And so we met Dr. Faisal. And at that time too, Memphis didn't like anybody touching him because he was in so much pain. A vibration of a chair or a bed that he's sitting on will cause, severe pain. So he didn't even want anybody to touch him. So when we met Dr. Faisal said, okay, no problem. That he just wanted to see. Memphis didn't want him to touch him. So I don't know how it happened, but Dr. Faisal was able to communicate, reach out to him, and Memphis allowed Dr. Faisal unwrap the bandages of his cast for him to examine him, take a look at the foot and examine him. So that was the first inkling that, wow, maybe, so I started paying attention. And then Dr. Faisal, he took a Doppler and touched his shin. And he said, listen, I can do this, that he could give us, he could do the flap surgery, that is an ample blood supply so that he can do it. And this is something that we'd been told that couldn't be done. So we looked at his certificates. We saw that he was very qualified. He's always tops in all the fields of study he'd undertook. So we decided to give him a chance. So he scheduled surgery. This was on the 29th of January 2019, and we scheduled surgery for the next day, 30th January 2019. So we came into Ajman and we were admitted, and the surgery took place. It was supposed to be an 8-hour surgery. He said he was going to do an artery and a vein. And this was a surgery that I had been told was impossible, because I remember when this injury happened and I told the doctors at Sidiaquez, I asked them, I'm like, can't you get an artery from anywhere and do this? They said, unfortunately, they can't do it. So they told me they had original prosthetics and all that. So when he said he was going to do an artery and a vein, wow, it was, I kind of, like, it was really, I felt huge relief. So he said it was going to be 8 hours. And so they went in the morning. And then after 8 hours, they were still there. 9 hours, they were still there. I started panicking, So 10 hours, and then I was called to to come to the theater that my son was out. So when I met Dr. Faisal, he told me that he had done one artery, and he took the muzzle from the back and with an artery, and then he connected the artery to the artery somewhere here. And that he did one vein, but that he wasn't too sure of the vein, so he did 2 veins. So that's why it took 10 hours. And it was a microvascular surgery. So he came out of the theater, he was still unconscious. I was still panicking, even though I'd seen him, he's out, but I wanted to hear him. So I think about an hour afterwards, he came to, and he started talking, but he was still very drowsy, so he slept. And then after some hours, the next day, it was morning anyway, he became conscious, and that's how his healing started. He had I've forgotten what was it called again, the spikes he had, fixators, and he wasn't even, he had a little pain because they had taken skin from his thigh to cover the muscle that they had taken, so he had a little pain there, and they gave him pain medication. Afterwards, I think that was just 1 day, right? Or 2 days. 2 days. After that, he wasn't in pain. He was recovering very well. And his structure started recovering afterwards. I think after 2 weeks or so, they took out the fixators, and his foot was put in a cast. So it took from January till March. He was here for 3 months before he came back to Nigeria. But the other thing that I liked was that the hospital was very understanding. They accommodated us. They made sure we had a very comfortable stay, which at that time was, very relieving, because we'd gone through a lot of stress going from clinic to clinic, hospital to hospital. So having a hospital where, they gave us accommodation for 2 weeks, helped settle Memphis into an apartment after the hospital stay. Even when the food, he didn't like the food, they changed it. They were just there they helped make everything comfortable for us. The doctors, they had wonderful bedside manners. Even the student doctors that came, they had good bedside manners, because they were able to communicate a genuine interest and care about the patient. So at the end of the day, I didn't really feel like I was in the hospital. I felt like I was with family, because everybody took care of us. They made sure we were comfortable. Even when I had to go back to work and leave Memphis here, the hospital assured me that everything was going to be okay. They helped get him accommodation near the hospital. They sent the vehicle to come pick him and take him back. So it was, I felt, we felt safe, and that also helped in the healing. So we finished the surgery, and then the doctor told me that we had to have an implant because there was no bone. The navicular bone and some cuneiforms were fractured. The navicular bone was actually gone. Some cuneiforms were fractured, so we needed an implant to do that. And one other thing was that Dr. Faisal, he's not just the regular doctor. That you could see him researching, putting in the work, the energy to look for the best solution to this problem. And that was very reassuring, because it's one thing to have a doctor, it's another thing to trust the doctor. Because in this experience, I met a lot of doctors that didn't gain our trust. Some of them, so it was difficult, receiving care from those doctors. But here, Dr. Faisal won our trust and our confidence, and we felt assured that we were getting the best, because he kept improving on the plans for the implants. So it's we were supposed to do the implant surgery in 2019, but because he wasn't satisfied with the implants that he got, he needed to update, and get a better one. So it took us till February 2020 for them to get a perfect fit for the implants, and COVID-19 came, so we couldn't do it. So now here we are, and we are excited because the surgery, that they had in 2019 went well. His arch hasn't collapsed. Memphis is working. He's walking very well. He plays, he jumps, he runs, he does everything. We were really I think last year we called Dr Faisal to find out. We were thinking we're going to get like maybe 50 or 60% utility out of the foot, but I'm telling you, we were surprised to see that maybe just 92% or 90%, so because he does everything. He walks, he even plays football with his brothers, just that I keep yelling, I tell him, listen, don't do that, but he jumps about. He hasn't affected him in any way from doing the things he used to do. According to him, that he doesn't have the speed he used to have before in running, and he used to enjoy playing taekwondo, but I don't let him do that because we're too scared for that. So we hope that with this implant that he'll be able to do all the things he used to like doing, like playing professional football, and then doing taekwondo and all the other things, and then improving in his speed, his running speed and all that. So I am very happy at this point where we are.
Hello everyone, my name is Max Memphis Ndwagibe. 2 years ago, we started a journey, and it was a journey for my foot. 2 years ago, I'm Nigerian. We traveled to my village. And there we had a firearm discharge, a gunshot injury to the right foot. The blast affected the navicular bone and fractured some of the other minor bones around that area. It's massively blew and exploded. Is amputation. So we went to a hospital called Cedar Crest Hospital, and the same thing, they were like amputation, but they have good prosthetics and everything. So eventually he got his way with me, and I allowed him. He opened the casts, and their time to make sure we each understand what they are going to do. So eventually, after some time, he did the surgery. So right now, I just want to say thank you for everything you've done for me and the surgery that we're about to go. We know it has been very tough for everyone here. It was very uncomfortable, but thankfully, God has helped us and we are where we are today. So I want to say thank you to the whole of Thumbe Hospital and Dr. Faisal. Thank you very much.